Welcome back to Wired for Drawing. We are officially in week 7. So for week 7, I have to make 2 of these things right here. It is a longer process, but it's not super difficult or anything. So that is what I'll be doing today. Gonna need one of these guys and my ruler. Pretty much all we're doing is drawing a border around the inside of the border. So to get started, as I said, I am making the template for this, which will just be filled with ellipses. And this point is kind of to help you get into the state of calm and ready to start. So you don't want to go too quick. You kind of just want to take your time and start working through it slowly. Since you have the ruler, you just kind of want to work on making nice straight lines all the way around the edge, just a little bit inside of it. It's pretty easy start, and there's more added onto it in this next part here. At this point, we are dividing it up into different areas, and these areas do not have to be the same distance apart from each other. They just have to have straight lines so that when we are going through the ellipses, we have nice areas for them to be in. In this part, I am going to divide the paper down the middle, so I needed to put the spots in around the middle area, and then you just draw the line straight down the middle to give yourself twice as many boxes as you had prior. That is what your table for the ellipses is going to look like. At first, this was a little bit weird just working through the ellipse motion, but it's really nothing too difficult. It just takes some time to get used to, and I think I did all right. I don't think I did great, but I'm just getting started, so we'll see how the rest of it goes in the next part. So that's pretty much what you're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do these ones the normal way. I'll do those ones the normal way, and then there's a way to mix it up that you can do a wave, which gives you different ellipses, and then you can do a straight line, which also gives you different size ellipses. So for these ones, they're supposed to be the same size, and then if you want to mix it up, you can do that. I don't hate them. They're not great though. Anyway, getting back to the exercise, this part was a little bit harder because trying to use your shoulder when making smaller ellipses, for me at least, has been a little bit of a challenge, but it's what the course asks to do because it helps build that shoulder muscle and shoulder memory throughout the whole thing. Once you have your main areas done like this, they're all supposed to be, the same sizes in these. Now you're going to go back through and fill up the empty spots. So here, here. Not really a whole lot I had to say about this part. It's pretty easy to understand what you're supposed to do. You're just supposed to add in circles to any of the empty spots and fill out the rest of your page so that you're not wasting too much space, and you're getting a little more practice in on every single page that you do of this. That's what the page is supposed to look like when it's full. You do your main ones the same size and try and get them touching the top, the bottom, and each other. And then you do that for all of the big ones. And then once you get confident with that, you can add the wave or you can add the diagonal line. These ones can be different sizes just to fill up the space. Still supposed to touch top, bottom, and each other. That's when you go back and add the little circles to fill up space. And I don't think those have to be every single spot, but just noticeable spots that you feel like need to be filled for the page. I honestly think so far this has been my favorite week because I was fully able to understand what was being explained in the video and the reading material. So I've got a bunch of notes. I really enjoyed how this was all explained. It really worked out well. I think for the next table of ellipses that I do, I need to slow down, be a little more confident, and just take my time throughout the whole exercise. Real quick though, before I do that, I also just want to point out the reason we do it in a table, like we drew out the table beforehand, the outside of it, is because if we didn't and we just had random ellipses everywhere, then it would kind of defeat the purpose of the ellipses. Because if you have ellipses everywhere, there's no criteria that sets what's right and what's wrong. Other than like wobbly lines, that's the only thing you would really get. So this forces you to make them the same size and hit the top and the bottom, which is where the accuracy comes in. So that's why the table is so fundamental to this exercise. It is very important because it shows you where you're falling short and where you're actually doing the right thing. Not that falling short is wrong, because that teaches you what you need to do better, but it shows you where you actually do good and where you fail at. As I was going through these exercises, some of the things I tried to keep in mind going through these was the ghosting method from The lines is very important to apply here, continuously using my shoulder and then stopping after going through the ellipse 2 times. Every single time in this course that this stuff comes up, it's very important to remember these things and get them built as part of your habits for this course specifically. All right, I have gone through both pages now, this being the first page and this being the second page. Honestly, I did so much better on the second page. If you stop and look at it, I took a longer time to do it, and also I think something else I was having trouble with is I was putting my hand on the desk a lot when doing it, which is normally fine. I think I was doing it too much though, and that's why it was hindering me in the process. So for the second one, I lifted it up a little bit and I started to get better lines in my opinion. Other than that, I think I went at a better pace. I took my time. I did things in a better manner than I did in the first one, where I was just trying to get through the page and I rushed it a little bit. Overall, this is actually a really useful exercise. It was fun, it was simple, and it showed me a lot where I was falling short and where I needed to do better. And this is a great way to do ellipses and actually see what you're doing wrong and how you can do it better. Now that I have both pages done, I can give my full thoughts on this exercise. For the most part, this was relatively simple. There wasn't anything too difficult about it. It just took a little bit more time. It is very important to slow down, take your time with the exercise, and really understand what you're supposed to be doing, because confidence and accuracy are the main two things you're focusing on here. We got 2 pages for the next exercise, so I will see you guys next week, and that's all I got. See you later.